Everybody.
Live from parts we're not going to mention. Welcome to our Homebuyer Seminar. I'm Bill Gross at Bill Gross Probate, along with my colleague and friend and partner.
Patricia Castillo. Hi, everybody.
We get together, we can talk about you buying your first house or your next house. And the market's so busy. Well, Patricia, how busy is it?
It's pretty busy, Bill. I was just sharing with you, I was out this weekend showing property. So these are areas that my clients are looking in right now, which is all in it throughout LA County, primarily, but we were in Bellflower, Lakewood, and also went to Anaheim and Buena Park. So the open houses were, pretty busy. We could see all the buyers that were coming through and just kind of overhearing what they were talking about, whether they were liking the home, not liking the home. Certain things could turn off a buyer, even if it's something like a scent or a certain smell. So I took my buyers into this home where they had this huge, I'm talking huge bird cage. They had a parrot in there.
Wow.
But it wasn't clean. The area wasn't clean around the cage. It was very, and as soon as you come in, that room was right there, right near the front door. So you could just get all of that stench as you're walking in. And it's very unpleasant. So if you're a seller that's thinking of selling your home or you have it on the market, I mean, that's one of the things that you want to make sure is that your home is presentable, smells clean, and it is clean. But my client said, as soon as we walked in, they said, no, absolutely not. So we turned around and left. Didn't even see the rest of the home. They were not interested in looking at the bedrooms or the kitchen or anything else. But we saw a few homes that they were interested in, and one of them was in Anaheim. Now I called the listing agent to talk to him and see what kind of activity they had. They had 10 offers, all over asking, and
Wow.
the asking price was $799,000. So that just kind of
Wow.
gives you an idea of where the activity is right now. And same thing with another property that wasn't in the best location. It was off of a main street and right across the street from a laundromat. So I asked my client, are you sure this is going to be a busy area? You have people coming in and out of the laundromat. It's a commercial area at the corner, so there's a lot of foot traffic. But they really love the home. So they were seeing past all that. They said yes. But this is another property that had multiple offers over asking, and the price was at $775,000. So this just kind of gives you that real market, point of view of clients that are out right now looking at property, where the market is at. Same thing with Lakewood and Bellflower. The open houses were also pretty busy. For two of them, I had to schedule appointments. They were not open houses, but they were private showings. So schedule appointments, because normally if it's the home is vacant, you can just go in and show the property. But in this case, it was a newer listing. There were multiple showings, so it's easier to scatter them out and have the agents book appointments. But in terms of activity, it's busy right now. And I think since the rates dropped just a little bit, that's also helping and getting buyers interested in looking at homes.
Well, since you said that, let's take a quick look at interest rates.
Mm-hmm.
Since our partner Shannon's not here because he's at the hospital, we're hoping we hear some good news from him and his wife. I don't want to get too personal about what's going on there, but
That's
we're
right.
hoping for some good news. In Hebrew, when we're Jewish, we say Kol b'shat tovah, everything should happen in the right time. So we'll just keep him in our prayers and thoughts for good stuff. Mm-hmm. That said, you can see interest rates, and this is with Shannon not working today, are down below 7%. And I think the thing that amazes me, I mean, on one hand, I don't want to get into politics. Unfortunately, today it seems like everything is politics. But if you look at the interest rates for last year, they're about the same they've been all year long. If you go to over the history of my career, they've been much higher. They rose up a lot. They dropped a lot. But this last year period has been pretty stable.
Right.
And so what's not true is that the economy, as far as interest rates for mortgages, is not whipsawing. I think there's just a lot. There's a lot of battle for thoughts, but the reality is, more people want to buy houses than there are houses. There's rates are good enough for enough people to buy houses. There's more buyers than there are houses available. Not by a lot, not as tight as it used to be, but the market's pretty good. And so there you are. Rates are below 7%, 6.67 is the Fannie Mae rate as of today, which is a great rate compared to we were, happy in the sevens. We're happy in the low sevens previously.
Right.
Now I do think, I'm not one to predict, but if you read the news and you look at the numbers, inflation is about 2.5% below where it was a year ago. When and the rates are about the same, as you can see here. You would think that with inflation down, normally rates would follow that down. Don't know why, don't know what the story is, don't know who to blame. There's a lot of politics about that, but the reality is low inflation generally means the future will have lower interest rates. And so I do think that one can buy a house in A, if you can afford it now, great, and B, you have to worry about the rates going up if you lock in and buy a house now. But you might get the benefit of if rates go down, refinancing and lowering your payment.
Right. That's exactly what my clients are doing. So they're going to get a rate of somewhere in the mid sixes. And if the rates do drop later on this year, it may be worth waiting out or even early next spring, and see where the rates are at. But, I am seeing more multi-generational living as well. So one of my clients is a couple and their adult child that's working. So between the three incomes, they're looking forward to buying a home that is $800,000 in price. And after you add property taxes and insurance is another factor that is affecting the payment because it's gone up. It doesn't matter really where you're living. You could be close to the hillside. Obviously, you're going to pay a little bit more, but really anywhere in California, you're going to have higher premiums. Now, I haven't had any claims on my home. I've been in my home for 10 years and my premiums are going up too. So it doesn't really matter where you live. You're going to pay more for homeowners insurance. So you're looking at a payment of, this is for my clients, they're VA buyers. So they're getting almost 100% financing other than their small earnest deposit that they're going to put down. But their payment is close to $6,000. So between the two parents and the adult kid that's working, the adult child, they're able to make the payment. And so you do need at least 2 solid incomes, or 3 if you have 3 in your household, but definitely need solid income to be able to buy a home that's right under $1 million. And you're going to buy a nice home though. It's remodeled. You're not going to have to do any work. It's a turnkey property. So if you're looking at buying a home that costs less because you want a lower mortgage payment, just know you're going to have to put in some work because a lot of homes will require updates and some modernizing of the home, which you're either going to pay for that in the beginning off the initial price tag of the home because the updates have already been done, or you're going to customize the home in the future and pay that cost down the road.
I would say if you can do the work yourself, this is a great opportunity because for a variety of reasons, there's not as many work persons available. And I know I talked to a couple investors who do fix and flips, and they're having a hard time keeping their crews for a variety of reasons. Good economy, also politics and changes with our immigration and all that. But the reality is there's less people around to do the work. And so, now you have fix and flippers who are anxious to sell the property. And if you can do work on your own, we call sweat equity, you can buy a house that needs fixing. And you can fix it one room at a time. You have to do the whole thing. I know I bought a house once that needed a lot of work. And, fortunately, I'm in the business. I knew somebody at that time was available. And we got done really quick. But we had all lined up and ready to go. That's the other thing about workmen is, when they're ready to go, give them the work. You give them 1 or 2 days off. Next thing you know, they got another job and you're waiting in line. But that's an opportunity to take advantage of other people's difficulties. If you can do the work yourself, especially, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, I have resigned from painting. When I bought my home, I love painting, and I painted every room. And um, my daughter, and I were, and my sister, we were all coming together to paint the whole house. And I painted my kitchen by myself, I think 3 years ago. And I think I'm hanging up my paintbrush. I mean, it's hard work. And if you don't do it every day, it's not like it's this skill that just comes and you just flourish as you're painting. You make the mistakes and then you have to correct them, and it's just not doesn't turn out to be as a fun project anymore.
I did it. I helped my mom when I was a teenager at my parents' house years ago. We painted a couple of rooms, and I was smart enough as an adult when we bought a house. I told my wife, "You can do whatever you want. I'll pay for the paint. I'll buy the brushes and stuff." But I'm just not. I'm just not able.
Yeah.
Who has some tough work? That's some tough work.
I
So I'm
used
gonna
to
work.
like not so much anymore.
What's that?
I used to like it. I used to enjoy it, not so much anymore.
My wife did too for a while. Then I think you like the first 2/3 of the job is fun. It's the last part, and also at the end as well. The detail is right. You have to peel the tape off and make sure you get up close, and you find mistakes. You have to touch up. That's the hard work. Is that last 10-20%? That's when I'm busy. That's when I have to go out on listing appointments and have to go meet customers because I'm gonna be around the house. And that's some tough work. But the people do it well, and enjoy it. And again, we all have things that we enjoy doing. I like doing computer work that other people find difficult or unpleasant. So find what you like to do and where you can create value. And if you can create value for yourself and buy a house and do some of that work yourself, you're going to get in on a good deal and get that equity
Oh
up
yeah,
front.
a good deal. And also sellers that are wanting to sell their properties, they're more motivated.
Yeah.
And in just talking to the listing agents, we just have to share the needs and the wish list for the buyer and come together and make a deal happen. So it's much more possible in this market today.
Definitely. Well, okay. So a few more homes are available for sale. Rates have inched down a little bit. So for buyers, it's a good time to get involved. Go out and see some open houses. Go see some property. Call your agent. Get prepared. July 4th weekend. I know I have a listing that won't be ready. We're waiting for an appraisal, and the appraisal couldn't finish before the 4th. So we're not going to put the house on the market to the following weekend in Hermosa Beach. And I know our loft downtown LA, we're not doing anything with that open until next week as well. So I know we're not really doing much this weekend. I'm not, at least in terms of my portfolio. How about you? Are you going to open houses? Are you showing houses this weekend, July 4th weekend? I know traditionally people who go out on July 4th weekend, they want to buy. Like that's when you get motivated buyers.
That's when you get the serious buyers. So I have a listing in Riverside that I have another EXP agent that's hosting that for me. So he's looking forward to it because he's saying, it's going to be a busy weekend for open houses. So if you are looking to buy a home or you're just thinking of getting started, this is definitely a good weekend. Just go out and take a look, see what's out there, check out the floor plans and the listing prices. I have another buyer that just got pre-qualified, so I'll be showing them. Actually, I have two more. So the one that I submitted offers for today, and then I have two others that I'll be working with over the weekend.
I remember when I was a newer agent, I had a listing and I was going to hold it open, but the first weekend it would open was going to be the Super Bowl. And I remember it was a Super Bowl matchup that I just didn't like. I can't remember why. I imagine I was a Raider fan at the time. I think it was Denver was in the Super Bowl or somebody did. I really didn't want to watch because I figured they're going to win. It's just going to make me upset. And so, you know what? I'll go out and sell a house and that'll make me happy. And I remember somebody saying, you know what? Super Bowl weekend's a great weekend to hold open houses because, half America is at the Super Bowl, but half America doesn't care about the Super Bowl. And
Right.
those who want to buy houses will go out and buy houses and know it's available. And there'll be less open houses and there'll be less buyers, but if there's the same number of buyers per open house, you have a good open house. He was true. We had great traffic. That was the good news. The bad news is they all spoke Chinese or Korean. So, I mean, it worked out. We sold the house. I didn't get the buyer on the deal. So the open house time was really kind of not. But my point, the thing I definitely learned is, there's nothing that everybody does. Maybe national holidays, Christmas or Thanksgiving. But in terms of, good days or bad days, July 4th weekend, well, the 4th is Friday. Yes, a lot of people are traveling. But that also means a lot of houses are empty and available for open houses for agents. And again, it might be half the buyers, but it might be also half the houses available. And as an agent, you have a chance to get good traffic. So definitely, if you're looking to buy a house, good weekend to go out and look. Those houses are available, are going to be your motivated sellers.
Absolutely. That's what I'm coming across.
What else do you have, Patricia?
So I have a listing in Moreno Valley. That one's going to be coming up at the ending of July. We were hoping to go live last month in June, but the sellers decided to change out the vanity cabinets in the restrooms and put in brand new cabinets, so that'll look nice. And what else? I have a listing coming up in Downey that will be coming up this month. The
Nice.
bedroom, one bath. And
Well, 2 bedroom, 1 bath sounds like the lower price point of Downey, which is the Beverly Hills of the 562.
yeah, it's
So-
definitely a first-time buyer home. It's a smaller home, under 1,000 square feet. What we were talking about, it needs some TLC, needs some paint, a fresh look to it. So it's a good home for somebody that wants to come in and customize it.
Nice. Do you know? Do you have the listing, or is it something you're still working on?
I have the
Do
listing.
You know the
Yes.
price? Are you able to share that or not?
$575.
$575 to buy a house in Downey?
Yes,
Wow.
because it's not updated and it needs some love. So
Is it
good price,
habitable?
though.
Is it habitable? I mean, could you live in it if you wanted to?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So it's not a tear down. It's just a older, needs
Older
updating.
home, traditional. Yes,
$575 in Downey. That sounds cheap.
575. Yeah.
Call Patricia if you're interested in Downey.
Yep, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah. Okay, great. Well, look, sounds like you're busy. I'm busy. We'll call this a wrap for our July 4th edition of the Home Buyer Seminar. Patricia, if somebody wants to get a hold of you and buy a house, sell a house, or has some questions about how to get prepared, what's the best way to reach you?
My cell phone, 323-365-9909.
And she answers it. You can call her, text her. She actually answers her phone, unlike me, where it's often do not disturb. I'm Bill Gross at Bill Gross Probate. We do this every week. If you have questions, put them in here. Love to answer your questions live if I can help in any way. Either way, make it a great July 4th weekend. Make it a great week for yourself, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much.
Great. Bye.